So, good morning everyone, and welcome to our live English grammar class. I hope all of you are doing well and are ready to learn something new today. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce myself so that you are in the right place. I have successfully cleared several prestigious competitive examinations such as RRB Bank PO, UP State PCS, and UPSC Mains 2014. Along with this, I have been honored with multiple national and international awards, including the Rabindranath Global Peace Award, which was presented by the European Council for Research and Development, a registered organization. I have also received the Best GS Educator Award. But more than certificates and awards, my real goal is very simple and very honest to you to provide quality education at a very affordable price so that even students from economically weaker backgrounds can achieve their dreams with confidence. Our live classes are conducted daily at 5 p.m. So please make sure you manage your time accordingly and are free by 5 o'clock to attend the class without any disturbance. For those who are watching this class on our channel right now, let me inform you that today's class recording will be available on the YouTube channel till tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So you can revise it if needed. So, without wasting any more time, let's begin today's English grammar session and take one more step towards fluency, accuracy, and success. So, this is the first rule we will talk about, but even before that, in today's session, we will talk about the English language. English. What is English? Why English is necessary in competitive exams? The first question is why English is necessary in competitive exams? Many students ask me this question. I will tell you, in today's globalized and competitive world, English has become more than just a language. It is a powerful tool for communication, education, and career growth. You know very well. Competitive exams play a crucial role in shaping the future of students by providing opportunities in government jobs, higher education, and professional fields. In almost all major competitive examinations, English holds a significant place either as a separate subject or as a medium of instruction. Therefore, understanding why English is necessary in competitive exams is extremely important for aspirants. Now, the second question, English as a global and official language. Why? English is widely recognized as an international language. All of you know very well. It is spoken and understood in many countries and is used as a common medium of communication across cultures. In India and many other countries, English is one of the official languages. Most competitive exams are conducted at the national or international level, where candidates come from different linguistic backgrounds. English acts as a bridge that connects people from diverse regions. Because of this universal acceptance, English is chosen as a standard language in competitive exams to ensure fairness and uniformity. Medium of examination and instructions. One of the most important reasons English is necessary in competitive exams is that the majority of question papers, instructions, and official notifications are written in English language. Even when exams are available in regional languages, English versions are always provided and considered the standard reference. Candidates who have a good command of English can easily understand exam patterns, rules, and instructions. Reducing the risk of mistakes, poor understanding of English can lead to misinterpretation of questions, which directly affects performance. English as a separate subject. In many competitive exams such as UPSC, SSC, banking, railway, defense, and various entrance tests, English is included as a compulsory subject. This section tests grammar, vocabulary, comprehension, sentence structure, and writing skills. Marks obtained in the English section often play a decisive role in selection, especially in exams with high competition. A strong command of English can give candidates an edge over others and significantly improve their overall score. Now we will talk about enhances reading comprehension skills. Competitive exams require candidates to read and analyze complex passages, questions, and data within a limited time. English proficiency improves reading comprehension skills, allowing candidates to quickly grasp the meaning of passages, identify key points, and answer questions accurately. Many subjects, such as GS, General Studies, Reasoning, and even mathematics, include word problems that require strong reading skills. Without proper understanding of English, even a knowledgeable candidate may struggle to interpret questions correctly. Now, the time improves logical thinking and expression. Language and thinking are closely connected. Learning English helps develop logical thinking, clarity of thought, and structured expression. Competitive exams often test analytical ability and decision making skills. English helps candidates understand arguments, evaluate options, and choose the most appropriate answers. In descriptive papers, we can see in descriptive papers, interviews, and group discussions, candidates are expected to express their ideas clearly and confidently in English. Good communication skills can leave a positive impression on examiners and interview panels. Now we will talk about role of English in interviews and personality test. So many competitive exams include interviews, personality test, or group discussion as part of the selection process. English is commonly used during these stages, especially in exams for administrative, banking, and corporate positions. Candidates who can communicate fluently in English appear more confident, professional, and prepared. While knowledge is important, the ability to present that knowledge effectively in English often determines success in the final stages of selection. Access to study material and resources. Main point. Our discussion will be based on this important point: access to study material and resources. Most high quality study materials, reference books, research papers, online courses, and mock tests for competitive exams are available in English. Candidates who understand English can access a wider range of resources and stay updated with the latest exam trends. English also enables aspirants to learn from international content expert opinions, and digital platforms. Limited English skills can restrict access to valuable information and put candidates at a disadvantage. Now, most important part of our discussion will be time management and accuracy. Competitive exams are time bound, and speed along with accuracy is essential. Candidates who are comfortable with English can read questions faster, understand them instantly, and respond efficiently. This saves times and reduces stress during the exam. On the other hand, struggling with English slows down the process and increases the chance of errors. Thus, English proficiency directly contributes to better time management and improved performance. English and career growth after selection. The importance of English does not end with clearing competitive exams. After selection, English is often the primary language used in training, official work, documentation, and communication. Internal communication, you can say. So, government officers, managers, and professionals are required to write reports, emails, and official letters in English language. Strong English skills help individuals perform their duties effectively and advance in their careers. Therefore, learning English for competitive exams also prepares candidates for future professional responsibilities. In conclusion, I can say English is necessary in competitive exams because it serves as a common language, improves comprehension, enhances communication skills, and opens door to better preparation and career opportunities. It is not merely a subject but a skill that supports overall academic and professional success. Competitive exams test not only knowledge but also the ability to understand, analyze, and express ideas clearly, all of which depend heavily on English proficiency. Therefore, aspirants should view English not as a burden but as an opportunity. With regular practice, dedication, and confidence, mastering English can become a powerful step towards success in competitive exams and beyond. Now, English in SSC. SSC, Staff Selection Commission. Many students believe that English in SSC is very difficult. This fear mostly comes from lack of basics, not from the actual difficulty of the exam. The truth is, SSC English is not about speaking fluent English, it is about rules, practice, and smart preparation. Even a complete beginner can qualify SSC English with the right approach. Now, the first question is, what kind of English comes in SSC? SSC English is rule based and objective, my dear friends. It is not literature, not essay writing, and not advanced vocabulary. SSC checks your grammar rules, your basic vocabulary, your ability to spot errors, your understanding of simple passages. You don't need perfect spoken English, accent, or fluency, complex writing skills. You do need only basic grammar understanding, daily practice, and confidence with questions. Now, the second question, English syllabus for SSC. This is very important part of this class. The syllabus is almost the same for SSC CGL, CHSL 10 plus 2, you can say, MTS, multitasking, GD, group discussion, CPO. Level may change slightly. Okay. Main topics in SSC English we can read. First, grammar. In grammar portion, parts of speech, like noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverb, articles, etc. Tenses, subject verb agreement, prepositions, active and passive voice, direct and indirect speech, models, error detection, sentence improvement. Grammar is the most scoring part. Second part is vocabulary in SSC English. Vocabulary, synonyms, antonyms, one word substitution, idioms, phrases, spelling errors. Vocabulary is easy marks if practiced daily. Third, reading and understanding. Reading comprehension, close test, fill in the blanks. Passages are simple, not advanced. Third part, difficulty level of SSC English. Let me be very honest, SSC English is easy to moderate. Questions are repeated in pattern. Many rules never change. Same grammar rules appear again and again. Same grammar rules appear again and again, my dear friends. If you solve previous year papers, you will notice, oh, these questions are similar. That's why SSC English is predictable. Now, the first question, can a beginner who fears English qualify SSC? Yes, 100% sure. Yes, you can say. Many SSC toppers studied in Hindi medium, could not speak English properly, started from zero level. They succeed because they focused on rules, not fear. They practiced daily. They did not try to become fluent speakers. SSC does not test confidence in speaking, it tests accuracy in rules only. Now, fifth, how to remove fear of English. Most important part. Step 1, stop comparing yourself. English is a subject, not a talent. If you can learn math formulas, you can learn grammar rules. Step 2, accept that you are a beginner. Don't jump to advanced books. Start from basic grammar. Step 3, learn English like maths. Grammar rules is equal to formulas, questions is equal to application of rules, and practice is equal to speed and accuracy. Sixth, best strategy for a beginner step by step. Step 1, build grammar foundation first 30 to 40 days. Start with part of speech, tense, subject verb agreement, articles, prepositions. Study one topic per day. Solve 20 to 30 questions daily. Don't rush. Step 2, vocabulary daily routine 15 to 20 minutes. Learn 5 to 10 words daily. Learn meaning, synonym, antonym. Revise every Sunday. Consistency is more important than quantity. Just make sure consistency is more important than quantity, my dear friends. Step 3, reading practice 10 to 15 minutes. Read small passages, don't translate word by word, try to understand main idea. Reading improves vocabulary, speed, confidence. Step 4, previous year questions, most important part. SSC repeats concept, pattern and grammar rules. Just remember. Solve last 10 to 15 years English questions. This alone can help you qualify. Okay. Seventh, common mistakes beginners make. Memorizing rules without practice. Skipping grammar basics, fear of long sentences, ignoring previous year papers, trying to speak fluent English unnecessarily. 8. How much marks are needed in English? Approximate idea, SSC English section 25 50 questions, even 60 to 70% accuracy is enough to clear cutoff. Grammar alone can give 15 to 20 correct answers. You don't need 100% score. Time required to prepare English. If you study 1.5 hour daily, then basics clear in 2 months, strong command in 4 to 5 months. Fear reduces automatically with practice. Final motivation for English fear students, remember this, my dear friends, English is not your enemy. Fear comes from not starting. SSA English rewards discipline, not talent. Thousands of Hindi medium students clear SSC every year. If they can do it, you can too. One golden rule for you, my dear student, do not try to love English, just practice it daily, confidence will follow. If you want, let's get started. Rule number 1, difference between each and every. Now, the first rule you can see on the screen. First rule, difference between each and every. In first rule, we will talk about only each and every. Each and every. Just remember, students, you can write down any problems you have, and after the session you can send them to us on WhatsApp. We will discuss them in the audio recording the next day. Now let's move on the rule. Rule number 1, difference between each and every. They are always followed by a singular verb. Examples. First example, each student is very talented. Here you can see each and is in bold part. Is each के अकॉर्डिंग फॉलो हुआ, यहाँ पे ये चीज़ आप ध्यान रखिए. ईच स्टूडेंट इज़ वेरी टैलेंटेड, तो यहाँ जो इज़ आया है वो ईच के अकॉर्डिंग आया है, तो यहाँ कंप्लीट क्या हो जाएगा ये, ईच स्टूडेंट इज़ वेरी टैलेंटेड. Second example, we can see each of my students is very talented. Each of my students is very talented. Here you can see. Here you can see first and second example. First one is each student is very talented. According to each, you can see is follow singular verb. And second example, in second example you can see each of my students is very talented. Singular verb is used. Here you can see it has been followed according to the instructions in first and second example. In sentence 1, each performs the function of adjective. Words used to describe or modify nouns or pronouns. The word it describes is the noun student. In sentence 2, each performs the function of pronoun. Word that is used instead of a noun or noun phrase. In both the cases, we use the singular verb is. Here it has been followed according to the instructions. You can say whenever a sentence starts with each, a singular verb will be used. जब भी सेंटेंस ईच से स्टार्ट होगा तभी सिंगुलर वर्ब आएगा। Whenever a sentence starts with each, a singular verb will be used. ऐसा आप कह सकते हैं। Each refers to a plural number of people or items, but it considers each person or item as a individual or dissimilar unit. It does not consider the group collectively. Each does not consider the group collectively. Every also refers to a multiple number of people or items, but it considers these people or items as a part of a similar collective group. This is called general approach. Note: each can play the role of both pronoun and adjective. Each can play, just remember, each can play the role of both pronoun and adjective. However, every is used as an adjective only. Examples: every student is very talented. Every student is very talented. This is correct sentence. यहाँ आप कह सकते हैं कि ये जो इज़ आया है ये एवरी के अकॉर्डिंग आया है, और मैं आपको पहले भी बता चुका हूँ कि वेन एवर अ सेंटेंस स्टार्ट्स विद एवरी, अ सिंगुलर वर्ब विल बी यूज्ड. सो एवरी स्टूडेंट इज़ वेरी टैलेंटेड. लेकिन यहाँ सेकेंड सेंटेंस जो है, एवरी ऑफ माई स्टूडेंट्स इज़ वेरी टैलेंटेड, यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, ये आपका गलत हो जाएगा. एवरी ऑफ माई स्टूडेंट्स इज़ वेरी टैलेंटेड. एवरी ऑफ माई स्टूडेंट्स. In sentence 1, every is used as an adjective. Every student is very talented. Just 1 minute. Just remember what is adjective. Adjective is a word used to describe a noun or a pronoun. It tells us how, which one, what kind, or how many. Simple definition: an adjective gives extra information about a noun. Am I right? An adjective gives extra information about a noun. Examples: a tall boy. There is a noun. What is a noun in this sentence? A tall boy. So you can say boy is a noun and adjective tall. Second one, a beautiful flower. So you can say, sir, noun is equal to flower and adjective is equal to beautiful. So an adjective gives extra information about a noun. And in second sentence, every is used as a pronoun, which is incorrect. Every is used as a pronoun, which is incorrect. Every student is very talented. This is correct. But every of my students is very talented. This is wrong. Now, each is used for two or more than two items or people. Just remember, each is only used for two or more than two items or people. People means living things. People means living things. But every is used only for more than two items or people. more than two items or people. Each is used for two. Each is used for two. Every is not used for two. Every is used only for more than two. Okay, every is used only for more than two. But each is used for two or more than two items. We cannot use every for exactly two things. In such case, every can be replaced by both. Both you can use. Examples: each person on this earth has to die one day. More than two persons. Here you can say more than two persons. Every person I know has watched the movie. More than two person. Every person. So यहां आप कह सकते हैं कि जहां एवरी शब्द का प्रयोग हुआ, जहां एवरी आया है, वहां हमेशा दो से ज़्यादा लोगों की बात हम कर रहे हैं, दो से ज़्यादा लोगों की। यहां आपको साफ साफ बताया है रूल में कि ईच इज यूज्ड फॉर टू और मोर देन टू आइटम्स और पीपल। ईच केवल दो लोगों के लिए या उससे ज़्यादा के लिए यूज होगा, और एवरी इज यूज्ड ओनली फॉर मोर देन टू आइटम्स और पीपल। एवरी दो लोगों के लिए नहीं, दो से ज़्यादा लोगों के लिए यूज होगा। समझ रहे हो? तो वी कैन नॉट यूज एवरी फॉर एग्जैक्टली। रूल नंबर 1, ईच पर्सन ऑन दिस अर्थ हैज़ टू डाई वन डे। मोर देन टू persons. Every person I know has watched the movie. More than two persons. He has a book in each hand. Correct. He has a book in every hand. Incorrect. क्योंकि एवरी जो है वो दो के लिए इस्तेमाल नहीं होगा, हमेशा कब होगा? दो से ज़्यादा के लिए। जबकि ईच का हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं। ही हैज़ ए बुक इन ईच हैंड। ही हैज़ अ बुक इन एवरी हैंड। तो आपको केवल वहाँ पे क्या देखना है? आपको वहाँ देखना है ग्रामर की मिस्टेक्स। ग्रामर की मिस्टेक्स आपको देखनी है मेरे दोस्तों। यहाँ सबसे पहले मैंने बताया था कॉमन मिस्टेक्स बिगनर्स मेक: मेमोराइजिंग रूल्स विदाउट प्रैक्टिस, fear of long sentences, ignoring previous year paper, trying to speak fluent English unnecessarily, एंड स्पीकिंग ग्रामर बेसिक्स। तो यहाँ जो स्कीपिंग ग्रामर बेसिक्स जो है, ये आपको हर एक रूल को याद रखना है। मैं आपको कई बार बता चुका हूँ इसी सेशन के अंदर कि एसएससी क्या काम करता है। एसएससी क्वेश्चंस को रिपीट करता है, क्वेश्चंस को, पैटर्न को रिपीट करता है। समझ रहे हो? रूल्स को रिपीट करता है। बताया था मैंने अपने सेशन के शुरू में। ठीक है, इस चीज़ को बिल्कुल भी नज़रअंदाज मत कीजिए, ये चीज़ ध्यान रखिए। तो ईच, जब भी हम बात करेंगे ईच की, हम दो लोगों के लिए ईच का प्रयोग कर सकते हैं, दो में से प्रत्येक के लिए। लेकिन यहाँ जब हम एवरी की बात करेंगे तो दो से ज़्यादा की बात हम करेंगे। एवरी कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड विद टू थिंग्स। ध्यान रखिए, एवरी कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड विद टू थिंग्स। Every but not each can be used with abstract nouns. Second step, every but not each can be used with abstract noun. Example: they have every reason to be happy with their new home. Correct. They have each reason to be happy with their new home. Incorrect हो जाएगा। क्या कारण है इनकरेक्ट होने का? एवरी बट नॉट ईच कैन बी यूज्ड विद एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नाउन। वी कैन से कि एवरी यूज्ड विद एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नाउन। एवरी कैन बी यूज्ड विद एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नाउन्स, नॉट ईच। ओके, नाउ फर्स्ट रूल, ईच एंड एवरी, आप सभी को क्लियर हो गया है? बताइए। अंडरस्टूड? Have you understood? Have you understood the first rule, everyone? Now, the second rule: both and not cannot be used together. Our second rule: both and not. We can see on the screen. Rule 2: both and not cannot be used together. In such case, we can use neither nor. Neither nor. जब भी हम बात करेंगे रूल नंबर 2 की, तो हम बात करेंगे बोथ एंड नोट कैन नॉट बी यूज्ड टुगेदर। इसका मतलब हुआ कि बोथ और नोट एक ही सेंटेंस में प्रयोग नहीं हो सकते हैं। अगर ऐसा हमें करना है, बोथ एंड नोट का मतलब क्या हुआ? बोथ का मतलब दो लोग, नोट का मतलब नहीं, तो दो में से कोई भी नहीं। ठीक है, मैं कह रहा हूं कि राम एंड श्याम both are not intelligent. Ram and Shyam both are not intelligent. This sentence is wrong. Wrong, my dear friends. Both Ram and Shyam are not intelligent. This sentence is wrong. Here we can say neither Ram nor Shyam is intelligent. We can say neither Ram nor Shyam is intelligent. इसका कारण क्या हुआ? neither nor, जब भी हम सेंटेंस में दो लोगों की बात करेंगे और दो में से, इस सेंटेंस का हिंदी मीनिंग क्या हुआ? neither Ram nor Shyam is intelligent, कि मतलब ना तो राम और ना ही श्याम इंटेलिजेंट हैं। और जो हमने कहा बोथ राम एंड श्याम आर नॉट इंटेलिजेंट, तो यहाँ पे बोथ के साथ में नोट, एक साथ बोथ और नोट का प्रयोग नहीं होगा। सबसे पहली चीज़ ये ध्यान रख लो। ये क्लियर हो गई बात? यहाँ ये बात क्लियर हो जाती है। हैव यू अंडरस्टूड द रूल एवरीवन? सो बोथ राम एंड श्याम आर नॉट गोइंग टू विजिट दिस प्लेस। इनकरेक्ट। नाइदर राम नॉर श्याम इज गोइंग टू विजिट दिस प्लेस। दिस इज अ वॉर which both sides cannot win. Both sides. This is a war which neither side can win. Neither side can win. उसका कहने का मतलब है कि ये एक ऐसा युद्ध है जहाँ से कोई भी नहीं जीतेगा। तो इसका मतलब क्या है? दो में से कोई भी नहीं जीतेगा, दो में से कोई भी नहीं हारेगा। जब भी दो में से किसी भी नहीं, दो में से कोई, दो में से एक भी नहीं की हम बात करेंगे, तो वहाँ पे हम यूज़ करेंगे नाइदर नॉर का। नाइदर नॉर, नाइदर नॉर, याद रखिए। सेकंड, नाइदर अलाउ अस टू मेक अ नेगेटिव स्टेटमेंट अबाउट टू पीपल और थिंग्स एट द सेम टाइम। जो चीज़ मैंने आपको अभी बताई हिंदी में, वो यहाँ इंग्लिश में लिखी है। नाइदर अलाउ अस टू मेक a negative statement about two people or things at the same time. Neither goes before singular countable nouns, यानी कि we can say neither plus singular countable nouns. Countable, not uncountable. Okay, we use it to say not either in relation to two things. Neither goes before singular countable nouns. You can say neither plus singular countable nouns. Neither plus singular countable nouns. You can say here neither plus singular countable noun. Singular countable noun presents Ram. What is Ram? Singular countable noun, and neither follows this. Okay. Second rule. Second rule, first rule each and every, and second rule is both and not, neither and nor. Okay, as we come to the end of today's English rules class, I want you all to remember one very important thing. English is not a subject to fear, it is a skill to build. Rules are not meant to confuse you, they are meant to guide you. Just like traffic rules help us drive safely, grammar rules help Our thoughts travel clearly from our mind to another person's mind. Many students think my English is weak, but weakness is not permanent, it is only a stage. Every expert speaker once struggled with basic rules. What matters is practice, patience, and confidence. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. As Nelson Mandela said, I never lose, I either win or learn. English rules are the foundation of good communication. When your foundation is strong, your speaking, writing, reading, and listening automatically improve. Do not rush to be perfect, aim to be better than yesterday. Even learning one rule a day can change your future. Just remember one thing, my dear friends, excellence is a continuous process, not an event. So keep revising, keep practicing, and never hesitate to ask questions. Believe in yourself because language opens doors to opportunities, confidence, and success. So, and today's class with a promise to yourself, I will not give up on English, I will master it step by step. Thank you and keep learning with confidence and courage.